Eat, Pray, Love is a 2010 movie directed by Ryan Murphy, and it is based on the autobiography of Elizabeth Gilbert, Eat, Pray, Love, a woman in search of happiness. Elizabeth Gilbert is an American writer and journalist who collaborated with magazines such as GQ, New York Times Magazine, and Esquire. She was born in Waterbury on 18 of July in 1969. She studied at the University of New York, where she graduated later in 1991. Elizabeth in particular known for the 2006 bestseller Eat, Pray, Love, A Woman in Search of Happiness, that ranked among the best-selling books and compiled by the New York Times for 187 weeks. Another book written by Gilbert is the sequel I Swear I'm Not Getting Married, published in 2010. The book, Eat, Pray, Love, is very recent. In fact, it only dates back to 2006, and this is why it tells about a real part of our days. We can say that the autobiography expresses the internal discontent of the writer, but also reflects both many young people and not so young people who lack in values, though living a brilliant and wealthy life in all sectors, as happened to the protagonist. This leads them to lose themselves somehow, their identity. Even had satisfaction in economy, social and affective and whatever, it go missing something to the woman, and this leads her to make choices that encourage to undertake a real and introspective journey. The places were not randomly chosen, but surely refined to satisfy her. The predominant role is the great desire of many to abandon everything to take a break and live for a trip around the world, where there aren't rules and frenetic peace, but where we can completely think of ourselves.
Man, you're such a pretty boy. 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 Fear, I grew up so scared.
As already mentioned, Ryan Murphy is the director of the film, an American scriptwriter known for the creation of its show Popular, Nip Tuck, Glee, American Horror Story, and The New Normal. Ryan Murphy was born on 30 November in 1965 in Indianapolis, where he spent his entire adolescence. He studied at Indiana University. The protagonist of the film is the beautiful and charming Julia Roberts, with Javier Bardem, James Franco, Billy Crudup, and Richard Jenkins. Liz Gilbert has all that a woman could desire most: an husband, an house, and a successful career. But like many other women, she is dissatisfied and confused, and she's looking for something she wants from her life. She feels the desire to leave everything behind and get away from it. After 3 years of difficult divorce from her husband Stephen and a tormented love story with David, Elizabeth decides to abandon everything, including her best friend Delia, to undertake a trip around the world, a way to find herself. Among her many stages, recounted in minute detail in a diary, stays for months in Italy, here visiting Rome and Naples. In Italy, she comes close to the pleasures of the taste of the good and healthy Italian cuisine and the warmth of the people. The scenes in Rome were shot in the center of the city, between Piazza Navona and Campo dei Fiori, as well as the Spanish Steps and Villa Borghese. The tour of the pleasure of the taste brings leads in many restaurants of the cities, from Vecchiorzo in Gili d'Oro Street to Santa Lucia in Largo Febo. In Naples, the shooting took place in the district Forcella. Liz, with her friend Sophie, discovered the real Neapolitan pizza. Later stopover in India. The scenes were filmed between Delhi and Pataudi. In India, she spends her time meditating in a center of prayer and chatting with Richard, a divorced man who suggests her to remain in India until she forgives herself for the failure of their marriage. The last trip of Leeds occurred in Bali, Indonesia, where a toothless shaman helps her to heal the sadness in her heart, learn to smile and love again, thanks to the unfortunate clash with Felipe, who finally decides to fully live a beautiful love story already born between them, but until then not openly accepted.
Such a pretty boy. Heaven knows the lengths I go to please them every day. They don't even notice when I'm down.
Among the scenes filmed at Ubud and Padagan Beach, interesting is the excursion on Batur Mountain, located in the center of the island. It's an active volcano about which is said that the last violent eruption occurred about 30 years ago, and it's an incredible wild beauty. The Columbia Pictures obtained the rights for the autobiography and produced a cinematographic adaptation of the film, which was distributed on 13 of August 2010. There aren't real differences between the book and the film. Director Ryan Murphy said that he remained as faithful as possible to the book, and therefore to the life of the writer. The only difference between the book and the film is the time. The book is very enjoyable to read because Gilbert's writing is ironic and makes it fun to read, whereas the film doesn't flow quickly. On the contrary, it remains slower and more monotonous. I prefer the book because it tells every detail about the story of the protagonist, even if the film is shot very well with spectacular scenery. I really enjoyed the way the writer was able to find happiness, understanding that doesn't depend on the outside, but that is an internal condition. It is a beautiful journey. I would define it not only an external journey visiting the place described, but also internal, a journey in the journey. Sometimes funny, but also full of food for thoughts about various topics. Personally, what I acknowledge is that, first of all, it is necessary to love and feel good with yourself, to love other people. The title of both the book and the film explains exactly what it means: hit, pray, and love. Like when Leeds runs to hug a tree at the peak of meditation. Madness? No, just love.